Happy Wednesday again, everybody. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have had transpire over the last week. Market pretty much went straight up the last few days. Into last week, we had the short week this week with the holiday. So go ahead and pay respects as well. But today, recently, we have had some pretty much all over the place talk from, the administration, White House, and all that stuff. So market is kind of just all over the last 2 days. So I kind of anticipated, like I said previous videos, 260 would be that level. Kind of broke through that. I feel like we squeezed out probably some stubborn shorts that maybe were anticipating that 260 level. Get squeezed out because those recent two falls the last 2 days just felt very much on air. I would anticipate that if this shutdown keeps going any longer, I guess to raise up the risk 270s if you're looking at the short side. So just kind of be aware of that. Overall, I still think we're going to see that 224, 226 area during this year. So some of the other areas of interest, we've been recently talking about marijuana. It's just kind of one of those big things. CGC last week kind of consolidated for the most part in the 44 area. So one of the big tricks that I've seen a lot of these marijuana names is when they break out to, extreme highs on volume on 45s, they tend to just get destructed right back down. So just kind of be aware of that. But the play, I think, on a lot of these names is, CGC is one of the main ones. Looking at over 46 with a hold and then continuation. So just got to look at the ETFs to kind of see how CGC in comparison has been holding up, as well as CRON. CRON's near all-time highs as well. Not my favorite name, but just kind of one of those things to pay attention to, as I have been for quite a while. Especially you can see kind of back around these names. So just be aware of that. Bitcoin still sitting at 35 range, 35 area. No real update there. Another ETF was not rejected today, but just withdrawn because of the government shutdown. Interesting area that I have been taking a look at is chip makers. So like MU, those type of names as far as risk rewards go. I feel like those have got a decent area. Number one, NVIDIA. I had some interesting conversation with somebody who's kind of in the industry, and I just asked him plainly AMD or NVIDIA over the long term, and he chose NVIDIA. I tend to want to go AMD just because of the recent filings that were last year in regards to what they're doing for crypto mining and all that. So I do expect that to come back with full force, but it's more of a determinant of when those chips are actually coming out. So one of those areas that I'm looking at is chip makers and also restaurants. So, like Red Robin, those type of names where people go out and they just eat. Had a long discussion with my wife, not recently, in regards to a lot of people just don't know how to cook anymore. So they are, going out to restaurants a lot more and more. I think that's going to be one of those areas that over, the last period of history has been not really a bellwether, but more of a stagnation, because whenever economy gets tough, people tend to eat more at home. People don't know how to cook. It's going to be a little bit more of a different scenario. So things like Grubhub, those type of things that have had big pullbacks and are kind of sitting at these low areas are all of interest to me. So I have a very good rule of thumb that when looking at long-term charts, usually on a big breakout, you almost always want to buy that big first pullback. So I guess Grub is kind of a great example where it finally broke out, the 47 area after long consolidation of quite a few years. That first big pullback, on at least the weekly chart, is right here. So I expect those kind of names that have, food delivery services, those type of things, pizza delivery services, are names that long term I'd be looking at here for risk reward trades. So hopefully everybody has a great rest of the week, and I will talk at you guys next week.